Good morning, good morning, everybody. And welcome to Turning Your Passion into Profit Morning Show. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're having a fantastic day. Wherever you may be around this globe. You know, y'all, it certainly is a beautiful morning. It's a beautiful morning to declare that I'm waking up to greatness. Are you waking up to your greatness today? Do you feel like, this is the day that, you could just start doing something that's going to be fantastic, something that's going to change not only the trajectory of your life, but the trajectory of those lives who you come in contact with. No matter if it's through writing your message, which is your book, or creating that product or that service. You should wake up to greatness each and every day. And Yo, this is something that I truly believe in. I truly believe in. And, I was going through my stuff and I said, I'm always telling my audience about greatness, how to wake up and how to get in that mirror and frame their day. And I just wanted to show you, I'm not just talking about it, I'm being about it. Sometimes people, they just talk about what they do and always telling others, excuse me, what they should do. But this is something that I constantly do. I do this every day. So I know that it works. So I want to share with you, I'm going to share with you my daily declarations. Well, I'm just going to pull one thing out of this. When I'm talking about framing your day, when I'm talking about before you get in the presence of others, get in the presence of God, number one, and just begin to empty yourself out and begin to be filled for that day. And then after that, what you do is you get in that mirror and you talk to yourself. I am. And whatever you place behind that I am, that's on you. But say something. Good morning, Lucky. How you doing today? It's great seeing you today. And this is something that I created back in 2018. And I'm just going to read two for you. Okay. I am capable of multiplying my inner resources to solve problems for others. So that was one of my affirmations. Excuse me for a second. Throat's kind of dry today. But, it's something like that. I am capable of multiplying my inner resources to solve problems for others. And I believe that, when you get up and you begin affirming yourself and speaking to yourself, things begin to change in your life. You have to believe it. You have to say it out loud. You have to hear yourself saying these things. And these things will promote you to, be active, to activate those things that you desire. Excuse me this morning. Having the time, but you know what? The show will go on. Another thing that, a book that I wrote, and I think this was back in 2018. And if you're interested in obtaining a copy, just hit me up and I'll send you that link. But how to increase your self-esteem using self-talk quotes. And this is something that could really, promote you to the next level. And one of it would say is, this is number 94. Excuse me, y'all. I will take my vision from a fantasy into reality. I will write my vision down and make it plain. I will take my vision from a fantasy into reality. I will write my vision down and make it plain. Because you know what? As long as it's in your head, it's only a fantasy. It's only a fantasy. And today, I'm going to be talking about, breaking those restrictions and limitations because those things can be broken. What's stopping you from moving forward? You have to think about those things. You have to really sit back and think about those things. We use procrastination a lot of time, and we use that word very loosely. But let's dive into that. Let's really see what procrastination, entails, because it's much more than that. It's much more than that. And I know, audience, your intentions are good. Your intentions are good. And I believe you when you said, I intend to write my book. I intend to, start my business. I intend to create this product. I intend to expand into this service area. But then something happens. Then something happens. And this is a great place that I want to, introduce myself to those of you who don't know me. I'm Gertrude J. Chapman, and I teach you how to maximize your potential and stop leaving money on the table. Because so many times y'all leave money on the table because after you're so busy taking care of everybody else's needs, you're not seeing your value. You're not seeing your worth because you consistently push yourself back on the back burner. You keep pushing yourself back. You keep saying, well, one day I'll do this and one day I'll do that. And those days have, turned into weeks, and those weeks into months, and those months into years. And you haven't gotten those things done that you intend to do, in your heart. Those things, those treasures, those gems, those things that you can do that nobody else could do like you. There's room for you. There is room in the marketplace for you. Whether it's that book, whether it's that product, whether it's that service, there is room for you. And I always tell you this, y'all. Excuse me for a second. With 63,000 Google searches every second of every day of people looking for information, they're looking for your book, they're looking for your product, they're looking for your service, and you have yet to write it, or you have yet to create it or produce it. But there's room for you in the marketplace. And I want you to believe that, okay? I want you to really believe that. So wake up to greatness each and every day because you are great. You are brilliant. You are a game changer, okay? You are capable of changing the trajectory of not only your life, but your reader's life, your client's life, your customer's life, and also their family, their friends, those that surround them. But most important, generations to come. That's how much power you have inside of you. That's how much knowledge you have stored inside of you. That's, the brilliance, the treasures, the gems, the things that you can help others with, whether it's giving them hope or whether it's helping them avoid a situation or come out of a situation, whatever it may be, something to add to their knowledge. You have a lot inside of you. You have a lot going on. So every day, y'all, no matter what, wake up to your greatness. This is another day to, to shine, to be brilliant, to, explore and see what you could do in order to move the needle forward in your business or on your book writing journey, because there's so much. There is so much that you have yet to tap into. So today, like I said, we're going to be talking about breaking restrictions, breaking those limitations off of your mind, out of your life. Because a lot of times what happens is so many times people are overloaded and they're just so confused and they're just so overwhelmed with things that, it causes things to happen. Things that they have heard, things that they have experienced, things that they're thinking about, things that they're meditating on, things that they're imagining in their minds, things that, through their experiences and different things of that nature. These things could produce restrictions and limitations in your life. And I tell you about this all the time, y'all. And I do this. I do this at least 4 times a year. I have a big sheet of paper, okay? And on this big sheet of paper, I draw this circle in the middle of it. And in the middle of that circle, I put my vision. Okay? I put my vision with my goals, my plans, my strategies. I put that right there. And then on the perimeter of that circle, I start writing everything that I'm doing, everything I'm involved in, and I write it all out. First of all, you have to be honest with yourself if you want this to work. Be honest with yourself. No pretense, okay? You have to come clean with yourself. And then I look at everything that I have written around the perimeter of the circle. And I see if it's connecting with me, my vision, my goals, my plans. And if it's not going to add to it, if it's not going to, push me forward or move me forward, I get rid of it. And I make no excuse for that. I simply get rid of it because it's something that could hold you back. Because a lot of times things are outdated. A lot of things people do things just because of guilt. A lot of times people just do things just to be doing things when they don't have to do those things. Some things you could delegate. Some things you could drop. And, you have to stop feeling guilty about things that's sucking the life out of you, that's causing you to be overwhelmed, that's causing you to have attitude changes. You have to learn how to value yourself, number one, okay? And yesterday I talked about that. People that's not valuing themselves. Stop allowing things, people, things, and circumstances, situations to suck the life out of you. Because I'm going to tell you, you are somebody. You have worth. You have value. And you have to start teaching people how to treat you. Because, you just can't allow this to happen. You have to put a stop to it somewhere. Let me see. Let me go to the comments right quick. As I am listening to you, I am draping and designing a dress. All right now. All right. This is one person that's being about their business. And, a lot of times that's what we do, Lucky. We multitask. As we listen, to a podcast or a live stream, we could do those things because, we could listen as we're doing our work. And that's great. I thank you for that. I thank you for valuing coming on each and every day and, being here, knowing that you're busy, doing other things. So I really appreciate that. I thank you. I thank you all, audience, for dropping in and being with me today because it's such an honor. And I love to receive your emails and, messages and different things and letting me know your comments that, you are getting benefits, receiving, put it that way, benefits from these broadcasts. And that's something that really, inspire me because I know that there's a need in the marketplace to, build people up and have them in a place where they can maximize their potential and stop leaving money on the table. So I appreciate that. But, when we're talking about breaking limitations and breaking restrictions off of our lives, that's exactly what we do. Okay? Be honest. Number one, be honest with yourself and begin to eliminate those things in your life that's causing, you to be less energetic, when it comes to your vision, that's pulling you, that's stretching you, and not stretching you in the right way, but stretching you in the wrong way, okay? Where you can't complete what you intend to do. And so with that being said, let's move into the first talking point. And, the title of this message, again, is Breaking Restrictions and Limitations. And the subtitle is Power to Break Every Chain. I want to tell you, you have the power to break every chain. Every chain that I'm going to mention today, you have the power to break it. but you have to come to the end of yourself and say, enough is enough. Okay? Enough is enough. And the first chain that we're going to talk about is chains of the mind. Okay? Chains of the mind. Like I said, it's more than procrastination. A lot of times people use that word loosely, procrastination. Why, you keep pushing things off. But let's talk about those chains on the mind, or chains of the mind, the indecision, not being able to come into an agreement within yourself. And this happens a lot of times. People do not have unity within themselves. They're thinking one way, they're speaking another way, and they're acting in a totally opposite way of both of those. Okay? Their actions, their speech, and their thinking is not lined up. So this becomes chains in the mind. Okay? This causes people to, procrastinate. This causes people to stand still because they're not unified within themselves. And that's something that you have to make up your mind and be disciplined about. You have to come in unity within yourself. How many of people out there have suffered from being divided? Okay? They may want a certain thing. They may want to accomplish a certain thing, but they just can't because now they have all these things, pulling them this way, pulling them that way. And just like I said, they're doing things that they should let go of, okay? Because it's serving them no purpose. It's not pointing toward their goals. It's not pointing toward that vision. And these causes chains to form in the mind, the mindset. Because, they're at a standstill. They're at a standstill. It causes confusion, y'all. And when you in a confused state, things are not going to go very well for you. Because a lot of times what happens is people will just stand there. They'll procrastinate. They won't move on. Because when we talk about confusion, then we could talk about, people being in delusion, okay? Having a false belief, a false opinion. So some things you have to let go of. If they're no longer serving you, and this is people, places, and things. If these things are no longer serving you, if they're draining the energy out of you, if they're causing you to not be able to see, if they're draining your energy, let them go, y'all. Let them go. Okay? Sometimes people feel like they're obligated to continue doing something when that was only for a time, that was only for a season. You have to realize that some things are in our lives just like people are in our lives, some for a season, some for a reason, some for a lifetime. And you can no longer, have things that's in your life for a season or for a reason and to make them lifetime decisions or lifetime things, okay? You have to learn how to let those things go. And like I always say, snip, snip, okay? Cut them off. And be unapologetic about it. Be unapologetic about it. Because if not, it's going to hinder your progression to, complete those things that, that you should be doing. Good morning, Robert. How you doing today? So you have to learn to let those things go. Delays, procrastination, all this falls under that, chains of the mind. Now let's look at another one. When we're talking about breaking restrictions and limitations, chains of depression. Chains of depression. What people expect of you, okay? Not what you expect of yourself, but you put more weight over what people expect of you, what people desire that you should do, instead of you knowing who you are and what your purpose is in life and what you are called to do. You place more weight on somebody else's opinion of what they desire for you to do than you place on your own. And those things causes restrictions. Those things causes limitation. Those things causes chains of depression. Okay? Because you see yourself not meeting their standards. Well, how about your standards? Don't you have standards? Nobody's more important than you. You are just as important. You know? I don't care what society paints a picture as, certain people are more important than other people, and that's not true. That is not true. You have to shift your mindset. No one is more important than you, because you are very important. Because if you don't see yourself that way, you're going to fall into having those restrictions and limitations, trying to please other people. You can't be a people pleaser. You have to be unapologetically you. And if they don't like it, oh well. Okay? Do what you are purposed to do, what you are called to do, what you are designed to do. That's what you do. It doesn't matter about them. Number one, I always say, well, why are you so concerned about me? What are you doing? Because anybody who's more concerned about you and what you're doing, what are they doing? Do they have time to sit back and criticize you and look at your life with a fine-tooth comb or through a microscope? What are they doing in their lives? I know I don't have the time. We have 24 hours in a day. You have to be concerned about your progression and stop putting more weight on other people's opinion of you, because these things cause restrictions. These things cause limitations. These things causes chains of depression. And like I said, being overloaded with things that you should let go of. Let them go, y'all. You won't miss them. And when you let those things go, like I tell you, always write your vision and make your vision plain. Have it down on a piece of paper. Put it on your computer screen. Put it on your phone. Put it on your tablet. Put it on the wall, okay? Where you can always have it before your face. And that's what you concentrate on. That's what you meditate on. That's what you look at each and every day to propel yourself forward in completing your completing your plans, your strategies to meet your ultimate goal. Okay? And stop allowing limitations and restrictions to bring you into having chains of depression. Here's another one that goes right along with it. Chains of the past. Guilt. Okay? How many of you feel guilty out there because something that you did in the past? Or maybe you offended somebody and you're feeling guilty about that. Forgive. Forgive yourself, number one. Okay? You have to forgive yourself, y'all. Everyone's human. And don't allow people to point fingers at you and make you feel guilty. You've changed, okay? And if you truly change, no one should stand in that judgment seat and continue to point fingers at you. And like I said on yesterday, teach people how to treat you. You don't have to stand there and listen to it. Walk away. Break contact. Because you are worth it. You are important. You are significant. Don't allow people to belittle you. Don't allow people to make you feel small or make you feel like you're not worth it. You can't allow that. Chains of the past, that's just what they are. Past. Forgetting about those things which are behind and reaching forth for those things which are before. And you're going to press against opposition because opposition is there. But opposition builds endurance. Opposition builds endurance. But let go of the past. You have to let it go. You made mistakes in the past. Forgive yourself. Move on. If offended somebody or did something to somebody and you ask for forgiveness and they don't, say they don't want your forgiveness, all you do, you forgive from your heart. That's whether that person's living or dead. And you move on. But you break that chain of the past, that chain of unforgiveness, because as long as you harbor unforgiveness in your heart, and this is whether you're right or wrong, sometimes you have to be the bigger person and say, I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. You know you weren't wrong, but just say, I'm sorry, and move on. And it doesn't matter what they say, whether they accept it or not. Move on. Because as long as you hold or harbor unforgiveness or that thing of the past, the more you are not able to move into your promises or, the next victory for you or the next depth or level of your achievement. So you have to let go of those things. You have to be free, okay? You have to be free. Because in order to move forward, you have to let go of the past. You have to stop looking behind and thinking behind. Always forward and upward, okay? Move forward and move upward. Always. You got to come out of the rabbit hole. You can no longer allow things to continue to pull you down. You have to reach up. You have to go up. You have to soar up out of the past, okay? So move past the past and move into the next dimension of your achievements, of your goals, of your plans, of your strategies, of your vision. You have to move past that because chains of depression, chains of the past, whether it's disappointments, if it didn't work out the way that you thought it should work out, hey, move on. Move on. Learn from it, okay? Learn the lesson and move on. How many times we have done something and we say, well, it didn't quite work out the way I thought it should work out. And you look at it. You learn from it. Then you learn how to do it another way. And if that doesn't work out, continue on, but don't stop. You see, this could cause procrastination. People become disgusted with themselves. They become disappointed in themselves if something didn't work out. But it's time to rise. It's time to rise from that place of complacency. It's time to rise from that place of disappointment. The sun will shine. Okay? The sun rises each and every day, whether we see it or not, because sometimes it's cloudy and we don't see it, but it rises each and every day. So you have to learn to rise each and every day. And that's something that you could place in your plans as you're framing your day. When you don't feel like getting up out of bed, because maybe, you're tired. Maybe you're just not feeling it. Maybe you woke up and say, well, what's the use of getting out of bed? Nothing's working out for me. Rise. I want you to remember that word, rise. Rise from that depression. Rise from the past. Rise from the chains of your mindset. Rise past restrictions and limitations. Because when you make up in your mind, when you come to the end of yourself, there is nothing that could hold you back. You have to have a determined mind. And once you have a determined mind that you're going to make it no matter what, guess what? Nothing will be able to hold you back. Because that's how powerful you are. There's power in you. Release worry. Here's another one. Chains of the past. Worrying. Okay? Worrying about, what people say or how they're going to think. That's added stress. That's added stress to your life. Let go of those chains of the past. Don't worry about it. If you made a mistake, Everybody makes mistakes, y'all. And if you hadn't made that mistake, then you wouldn't see or wouldn't have known how you could do it better. Think of it. Think of it like that. If I hadn't made, came to this point in my life where, it didn't work out the way I thought it should have worked out, I would have never known to try it this way, that this was a more excellent way. But break that restriction and that limitation of the past off of your life. Here's another one. Chains of lack. How many of you, audience, are out there saying, well, I can't afford to go on vacation? Here's the summer. The summer is right around the corner. And I don't know what to do with the kids. They want to go to camp, or they want to, have this activity or be in this or be in that. And I don't have the funds. Or I just want to, fix up my house. I want to, buy some furniture. I want to maybe even purchase a car, a vehicle. Because maybe your vehicle is not running right. Maybe it's always breaking down. But now you have restrictions and limitations because there's lack. And I always tell you this, y'all. I always tell you this. There's abundance in the world. There's no lack in the world. There's no lack of money in the world, no matter what people are saying, no matter what the news is saying, okay? There's no lack of money. There's just a lack of knowledge. People are always dependent on somebody else to come through for them. How about you depending on yourself? Come through for yourself. Write that book. Put it online. Create that product. Put it online. Put it in the stores. Open that business. Create that service. Get it out there. Get it out there. I forgot how many billions of people there are in the world, okay? I forgot. But there are billions of people in the world. There's a percentage that's looking for your products, your service, your messages. So anytime there's a lack of something, and maybe some of you don't write books, maybe some of you don't have a business like a brick and mortar or online business, but some of you may be cooks out there, just like my man Lucky. He sews. Do something. Don't just sit there and complain about you don't have this, you don't have that. Create something. Create something that could bring in a monetary return. But it's all about a mindset. Looking on the outside of you to bring something in, when it's already on the inside of you. Chains of lack, okay? Lack of finance. Create something. Lack of knowledge. Invest in your learning, okay? Invest in yourself. Invest in books. Invest in your mindset, okay? Learn to change your mindset to see abundance, to see what you could create what you want in order to get what you need. Y'all, we live in the greatest country in the world. You could do anything you want to do. I'm talking about lawfully now, okay? You could be anything you want to be. So what's the problem? People are dying. They risking their lives in shark-infested waters, climbing the walls to get to this country. And where you and I have an opportunity to exercise our gifts, talents, and abilities and bring in a monetary return, what's the problem? What is the problem? It's a lack of knowledge. Get into the comments and say, I work from home. I'm a producer, designer, and caretaker. Producer, designer, and caretaker. You can work from home. I mean, y'all, this is a perfect time, okay? This is the perfect time. And, since the pandemic, and not saying that the pandemic was a great thing, but since the pandemic, things have changed. And you have so much opportunity. You have many opportunities to get your products, your services, your message, whatever it is, out to the world. So there should be no excuse where you don't have this amount of money. You don't have that. You're limiting yourself because you are failing to see your value, to see your work, or see what you could create. Chains of lack. Lack of discipline. Okay? A lack of discipline. Set guidelines for yourself to achieve your goals. You just can't let things just run wild in your life, in your mind. Doing things all out of control. You have to learn to be disciplined. Because if you're not disciplined, you're going to be restricted. You're going to be limited because you're all over the place. You remember I talked about when I was talking about, I think, chains of the mind, and I'm talking about being divided, thinking one thing, speaking another, and doing something totally opposite. You have to learn how to be disciplined. Chains of lack. We have come to a time, y'all, okay, where you have to move into maturity. If it has not worked in 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, what makes you think that it's going to work now? You've been going around the same merry-go-round for how many years? And it has yielded the same thing over and over. And you have the nerve to be disappointed and blaming others for your downfall or your shortcomings, when you could only look at yourself and blame yourself. But like I said, get rid of that. Get rid of the past. Come to a realization that enough is enough in my life. I'm sick and tired of the same old, same old. I'm sick and tired of going around this mountain. I'm sick and tired of being in the wilderness, going around and around for 40, 50 years. Okay? I'm sick and tired of it. That I'm coming to the end of myself and I want to change. You have to want it. You have to desire it. There will not be any change until you make an effort to change. You have to make the effort. Simple as that. The ball is in your court. So what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? There's greatness on the inside of you. There's greatness on the inside of you. And as I'm sitting back and I'm talking, we want to see your greatness. All of you who chime in here, in the comments, or you're looking at the broadcast, or you're leaving comments and you're leaving messages and different things of that nature. I would love to see some of the things that, you have accomplished. Some of the victories that you're having in your life. I would love to see that. Okay? Because I know that there's brilliance inside of you. I know that there's things holding you back. Okay? And you just use the word procrastination. But it's much more than procrastination, y'all. And that's why I wanted to bring these things out. And I have one more. Okay? Here's one more of breaking these restrictions and limitations, these chains of fear. Okay? Chains of fear. What people say. What are people going to say about me? Let them talk. Let them talk. You are important. You have something to showcase to the world on the world stage. It doesn't matter what they say. I hope you get into an understanding what I'm saying, where it doesn't matter what they say. Can you, see yourself as really not caring what anybody says about you? Because once you reach that of not caring, you're on your way to victory. You're on your way to increase. You're on your way to freedom. Freedom in your mind. And a lot of you need freedom in your mind. Okay? Freedom to move forward into reaching your ultimate goal. Freedom. Fear, false evidence appearing real. And that's true. False. Everything false. It's not true. It's not true. Nothing but lies. Okay? Nothing but lies. False evidence. And it always want to come forward. It always want to come forward. Thinking about how people will judge you. Nobody has, the right to judge anybody. And if they're over there, if they're the judging kind or whatever, leave them be. Let them stay in their own mess, y'all. Maybe that's something that you could put on that paper. Okay? Moving away from toxic people, people that's always gossiping, people that's always judging, people who are always pointing fingers. You've been in the conversation, you've been around the conversation. Okay? If they're talking and judging and pointing fingers at somebody else, what makes you think that they won't do you the same? You don't need to be in that toxic environment. You need to be free in your mind in order to create something to bring to the world stage. Okay? And those are restrictions, limitations. Fear is one of them. Chains of fear. And here's another one. Not knowing what to do. Not knowing what to do, y'all. Sometimes you just don't know what to do. And I always tell people to invest in themselves at the level that they expect results. If you don't know how to do something, pay for a class. Okay? Pay for a coaching session. Pay. You got to come out of free. Okay? When you're talking about free, they'll throw some tidbits out there and different things. Just like this program, you might be looking at this. Well, I'm getting the good information. This is free. But let me tell you, there's deeper depths here. There's things that I could tell you that will change your mind like that. It will change your circumstances like that. But you got to pay for those things. You have to learn how to invest in yourself at the level that you expect results. Okay? Invest in yourself. You're worth it. You are worth it. You hold a vehicle as more of a value than you look at yourself as being valuable. You go drop $75,000 on a car, okay, on a vehicle. It seems to be the norm these days with prices, okay? But you won't even spend $500 on yourself. And what are cars being financed at now? 84 months. You'll pay that. 84 months. But when it comes to you spending $500 a month on yourself, you won't do it. And when you're more valuable than that car, because that car will rust, that car will break down, that car will, get old. But your mind, no matter how the body may get broke down, no matter how the body is, the mind is able to continue to think, continue to create, continue to be able to provide benefits for people, continue to increase in value. So if you're apprehensive and this is a fear factor for you, you have to learn how to invest in yourself. I have to spend my money on materials in order to create the products and pieces. I sell it, take money. It takes money to make money. And that's true. You have to spend the money in order to, like you said, create your products. And you sell it, because you don't want your stuff looking any kind of way. Just like you don't want your mind looking any kind of way. You don't want to go through life, not knowing how to do things or, holding back on your greatness. But, that's exactly what happens. Chains of fear. Fear of the unknown. Here's another one. Fear of the unknown because you don't understand something. And how many of you out there have feared the unknown because you're not understanding something? You may forget what somebody says, but you'll never forget once you understand it. Because understanding is when the light bulb comes on and you begin to see everything clearly. It's very clear. It's crystal clear. And you'll see how to maneuver. You'll see how to plan. You'll see what products and services. You'll see different things. It breaks it down. It breaks it down. And this is something that will benefit you in the long run. So that's why you have to get rid of those fears, okay? Fear of the unknown. Because when you can't see, you're going to fear it. Just like being on that country road at night, heavy fog, and your hands is gripping that steering wheel because your adrenaline is up, because something might jump out, or you might miss the road and wound up in the ditch or whatever. So you're being cautious, you're being careful. Fear. Let go of fear. Chains of fear, because these are restrictions and these build limitations. Fear. We now live in a generation of expectation and entitlement. The concept of self-reliance and work ethic has become almost extinct. You got to say that one more time. We now live in a generation of expectation and entitlement. The concept of self-reliance and work ethic has become almost extinct. And that's so true. That's so true. We have to have a work ethic. We have to. We have to. We cannot always look for somebody to give us a handout, or expect somebody else to make our lives better. It starts with us. Okay? This is your vision. Nobody's going to add the energy in your vision as you can. Nobody's going to propel your vision forward like you can, because it's yours. Okay, this is your purpose in life. And it will never be the same without you. You could teach others, you could show others, but it's a part of you. It's you, a part of you. Your vision is you. You could see it. Okay, this is your baby. You know what it takes, because once you get that clear vision, once you understand, you're going to know what it takes to move from level to level where other people, they won't see that because it's not theirs. It's not theirs. So you have to be about your own vision, your own products, your services, your message. This is your journey, a journey by design. Okay. So learn how to break those restrictions and limitations. You have to learn that. Okay. And I talked about, those things. There's much more to this. And like I said, there's different levels of this. Okay. There's different levels. So you have to learn, with this comes, the chains of the mind. There's chains in your mind that could be holding you back. And all this falls under procrastination, because procrastination, has a whole lot of stuff, things under it. But we're breaking it down in different segments. What procrastination could be, what has caused procrastination. Chains of the mind, chains of depression, chains of the past, chains of fear, chains of lack. And each one of these could be broken down even further. And then there are things that you could look at and say, well, I need to do this, I need to do that in order to get rid of this, and in order to get rid of that. So this is a whole meal by itself. Okay, a whole meal. Well, I can't say a whole meal, because there's other parts of this. Okay, this is just part of the meal. Let me just leave it like that. This is just part of the meal. So I hope that what I have shared with you, these nuggets, has helped you realize that it's not about other people, but it's all about you taking that responsibility to move yourself forward, to move your purpose, your vision, your dreams forward in order to reach your ultimate goal. You have value, you have purpose, you have work, and stop placing yourself on the back burner, thinking that everybody else is more important than you. And that is not true, y'all. That is not true. But, and I'm saying these things because I want to see you maximize your potential and stop leaving money on the table, because you have value and you have work. And it's just, you just have to come to the end of yourself and decide in your mind that enough is enough. Enough is enough. And I'm no longer going to allow situations, circumstances, excuse, procrastinations to place restrictions and limitations upon my life. So with that being said, I hope that, what I've shared, like I said, has brought value to you and has moved you forward in your walk of life. Let me get to the comment and say thank you for your words of wisdom. I have to go and get dinner started for my client. Well, I thank you, Lucky, for hanging out with me today, and the rest of you all for hanging out with me today. And I look forward to seeing y'all the next time. Okay, so take care, and remember that this is your time, this is your season, this is your turning point. So have a great rest of your day.